Top stories for this afternoon: poor logistics and inadequate infrastructure affecting patronage of the Boabing Fiame Monkey Sanctuary in the Bono Ahafo region. And more news this afternoon: child prostitution reportedly rife in makeshift structures and drinking bars in the Lejokukukuro municipality. Straight to the fine front, North Korea cuts military hotline with South Korea amid high tension on the peninsula. I've got details of these stories and many more in sports, business coming up shortly. Do stay with me. Now I start with the stories, and the mobile health application for healthcare providers to easily contact specialists on mobile phones have been developed. Well, the application is aimed at improving health delivery, particularly in rural areas. This was unveiled at a conference on mobile government in Accra.
The very high mobile penetration rate in Ghana and in most developing countries in general presents opportunities for local government services to be tailored to the mobile platform. The Conference on Mobile Government aims to develop and enrich individuals with the use of mobile technology, services, applications and devices for improving benefits to parties involved in e-government. The Executive Director of Adam Center, Dr. Anthony Karim Adam, said he was determined to establish a world-class computing research center with specific focus on optimizing its benefit in emerging economies. The Minister for Communications, Dr. Manibuama, was impressed.
And let us commit ourselves in pursuing a collective resolve to ensure that ICT penetrates and diffuses every facet of our national life.
Adam Center presented scholarships to 2 students from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and University of Cape Coast to study in Germany.
I believe when I come back, I'll be able to help implement various projects in the fields of artificial intelligence. I'll be majoring in neural networks, and I believe businesses can use those networks to depict trends in their businesses.
I'm going to be studying technology in education. So once we come back, we are hoping that we'll try our best to make use of these mobile technologies in the way we have our education in the tertiary and then all levels of the institution.
Still watching Midday Live. The construction of a multi-purpose conference hall facility project at the Peshi Divisional Police Command has been abandoned due to unavailability of funds. The command is now calling for public assistance.
Construction began a few years ago through contributions from personnel within the Peshi Division. The division received some support from individuals, with the police administration later coming through with roofing materials. The facility, which was about 85% complete, was since abandoned due to unavailability of funds.
And I appeal to you all to come and assist us to complete it. In fact, last year there were some promises. 99.9% of the promises have not been fulfilled. Promises don't have expiry date. Our doors are still open. The division this year aspires to intensify the proactive measures, including day and night patrols and more public education to further bring down crime.
The division saw some infrastructural improvement in 2012. A DOFSU unit, generating set and vehicles were made available.
There is a need for the community to partner the police about the security needs of the various communities so that we make the community safe and then also reduce the fear of crime. If you see something somewhere, don't hesitate. You call the patrol team. If they come and they're nothing, that's not your problem. But don't wait, tell me, try answer before you know it will be too late.
The municipal chief executive of Lejokukukuro, Daniel Amate Mensah, pledged to support the divisional command this year.
Lejokukukuro municipality. Now, the assembly wants support from stakeholders to rid the municipality of that very practice. Here's a report by Peter Kwao Adato.
And growing slums are thought to be responsible for the increase in the alleged child prostitution in the area. Drinking spots and bars have reportedly been turned into brothels. Children working in these bars and spots do not only serve drinks and food, but also get forced reportedly into sex work. The presiding member for the Lejokuku Krowo Municipal Assembly, Agnes Namumulate, is worried about the situation.
It has come to the notice of the Assembly, and the Assembly has also notified the Municipal Security Council. So we are hoping that, well, whatever steps or measures they are putting in place, they will hasten to solve the issue, because it's becoming a burden to the municipality, and we don't want this to get out of control before we say we are looking at ways and means to control it. As it stands now, I believe that if we should put in the little effort from all the stakeholders, we'll be able to solve the problem.
We now move to the western region, where over 2,500 residents of Dumase in the Pristia-Huni Valley district are to be resettled by Golden Star Bogoso Pristia Limited to pave way for the start of the company's operations. Well, it is as a result of completion of the negotiations between the company and the community.
Dumase is a community located between Bogoso and Pristia in the Pristia-Huni Valley district of the western region. Majority of the people, particularly the youth, are into small-scale mining and farming. Total resettlement of the entire community was necessitated by Golden Star Bogoso Pristia Limited, a mining company's readiness to start operation. A 15-member oversight committee was set up to represent the community in dealing with the company on issues pertaining to resettlement. A socio-economic survey was conducted in 2009, whilst a moratorium on private permanent structures was put in place in 2010, which allowed an asset survey to be conducted. New Dumase will have about 680 residential buildings, 14 churches, 4 schools, 60 cubicle markets, an artisan workshop, a chief's palace, a community center, among other structures, including a health center, police station, football pitch, together with the provision of potable water and electricity to every household, while the streets are to be tarred. Members of the resettlement negotiation team, led by legal counsel Kwesi Jimabota, addressed the media.
Now that we have concluded all our agreement, the work is left in the hands of an implementation and monitoring committee. And so it is hoped that this implementation and monitoring committee will also work assiduously to ensure that all the things that we negotiated for are properly implemented.
Remember, you can get interactive on Facebook and Twitter's News on TV3 or short code 1734. This is still Midday Live. We look at some other stories. And poor logistics and inadequate infrastructure is affecting patronage of the Boabing Fiame Monkey Sanctuary in the Bonafo region. Now, the road leading to the sanctuary is also in a bad shape. The tourist facility receives hundreds of visits in the past. The monkeys occupy about 150 square piece of land, which had been preserved since 1827. 2% of the Nkranza North District Assembly's revenue is generated from the patronage of the Boabeng Fiama Monkey Sanctuary. The monkeys have a good relationship with the town folks and do visits in the mornings and evenings for food. Visitors are well received by the monkeys when they visit the sanctuary. The mono monkeys are very friendly and approachable, while the black and white monkeys, called Columbus, are not friendly. They rely on leaves and insects as food. One is also not allowed to kill a monkey. Offenders are given same treatment. A cemetery is reserved for the monkeys, which are buried there when they pass on. The Boabeng Fiama Monkeys Home has maintained its natural status, where they believed their forefathers settled in 1827. Due to that, some of their elderly persons like late Nana Kweku Amponsa and late Nana Efia Buahin, together with the monkeys, have been buried at the same monkeys sanctuary cemetery.
One day the hunter decides going to bush to fetch water. There he found a fetish. Then the fetish told them that anybody who do harm to these monkeys or kill anyone, that person get the same punishment to die. They agreed. He told them again that any monkey to die, they should bury that monkey as a human being buried. If not, so they will get punishment. They agreed. So from that time going, if any monkey dies, our ancestor prepares to have a coffee, put the monkey inside, cover the white cloth, and then the fetish priest polish him before burying.
Interesting story there. If you do love tourism, don't miss the opportunity to visit the Bono Afro region and see the Bobbing Fiame Monkey Sanctuary. But we move straight to the Ashanti region, where I do have one of our correspondents, William Evans Inkum, standing by to give us an update and a live report from the Swami magazine to look at their operations and what the very magazine has been doing so far as their work is concerned. So very soon we will be joined by William Evans Inkum from the Ashanti region. He is at the Swami magazine. But while we do wait for him, remember you can always get interactive on Facebook and Twitter. It's News on TV3 or short code 1734. Send your comments on the stories you've seen so far on Midday Live. You're also close to a school. You can tell us your experience there, if indeed the teachers have resumed, and
fault fixing point for vehicles, but also to create job opportunities for the growing generation. Over the years, thousands of the youth ply their trade here, ranging from fixing of faulty vehicles to the sale of spare parts. But for every business to thrive, there must be an improvement on the business environment, and this calls for innovations and technological advancement. One particular body that is ensuring that Swami magazine actually inculcates innovations and technological advancement into its scheme of things is SMIDO, Swami Magazine Industrial Development Center. We want to find out from SMIDO over the years what have they been doing in order to ensure absolute development in Swami magazine, because government, understand, has spent so much in building this place to ensure or to serve that purpose that it has always known to be. And I have with me here Mr. Stephen. He is actually the chairman of SMIDO here, and he is going to tell us what SMIDO has been doing in order to ensure absolute development in this place. A very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, so what has SMIDO been doing to ensure that there's absolute development in the Swami magazine cluster of industries?
Thank you, sir. You see, about 6 years ago that we formed SMIDO to bring development to the doorstep of every mechanic within Swami Enclave. And with that, we've been able to negotiate a bigger land to put up an industrial village for the mechanics, as well as we've been able to partner the Dutch company to come out with this particular car that we are going to witness today. As such, we've been able to bring a computer school to Swami magazine to train them in order not to maybe put their attention from the mechanics, because the automobile industry of these days has moved into a technological state, and as such we've been training them for them also to know a little bit about ICT, diagnostic tools and other things.
All right, so the idea of inculcating ICT and technological advancement, as I mentioned earlier, is on course here. As you can see from here, this SMIDO is trying to partner with some foreign agencies to produce the first Ghanaian made car. I don't know the name of this car though, but I'm going to speak to some of the resource personnel here to tell us what actually is going on here as far as this very project is concerned. So sir, I understand you are the main man here who is actually supervising this whole project. Tell us very briefly, what are we seeing here?
We are seeing a new car which has been designed by Swami magazine, SMIDO. That's a new
right car. So what name is given to this car?
Actually, the name we are keeping the name secret for the meantime.
Okay, so it presupposes that very soon we are going to see a Ghanaian made car being produced by Swami magazine.
Yes, very soon, very soon. Very soon you see that car. about 2 or 3 weeks time, the car will be coming out. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. I have with me here a white man here. I don't know what actually he is doing here, but he is going to tell me very briefly what he is also doing in this project site. So, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
And what's your name?
My name is Melis Smits.
Great, Smith. Tell me, what is your work here?
My work is the designing of the car. So I work together with the technicians, and actually we came here to Ghana with no idea what kind of African car we would build, but we were learning actually by doing. So we were inspired by the engineers here, we were inspired by the artisans, and then after, you know, connecting to them, we finally, I made a design for the car so we could really work together to make the first African prototype car.
Well, I think our main problem as African is trying to come out with something that will meet international standard. I'm talking about the international market. Tell me something. Do we have an assurance that after the completion of this car will actually meet international standards? We can actually export this car to other countries in order to stimulate our GDP?
There are big words, but yes, I think this is a prototype which addresses actually a very important thing, and that is, if you talk about the international market, then you should be aware that every continent and every country has a different climate with different needs and different economy. So therefore you always have to make a car which fits to the local market, and I think this car really gives out the message that every continent should have his own way of making cars, and I think this car will be the first step in a prototype to show that.
Well, so perhaps that is the biggest news we are hearing on Midday Live today. In case you're just watching, Swami Magazine is coming out with a new car, and I'm telling you that this is a Ghanaian made car. We are going to produce car made in Ghana. That is fantastic. That's just fantastic news. I just can't wait to lay my hands on the steering wheels of this car. Oh, that is a big news to you, Mr. Steven.
Yeah, it is welcome news because it is something that we've been dreaming for, and it has happened in life. So in fact, we are all happy and we are waiting for the day that we shall commission this car.
Alright, so Wendy, we are waiting for the day that we shall commission this car, as we heard very clear from Mr. Steven. I will hand you over back to Wendy Lai as she continues with.
Thank you very much indeed, William Evansinkum. Yes, we're all waiting for that car. It's still Midday Live. We'll move straight to the teachers. And as you're aware by now, teachers have called off their strike, but they've given government 7 weeks to work on their issues.
2 years ago, government introduced 15% retention premium to maintain teachers in the classrooms. Although a section of teachers complained about the figure, others lauded government for the efforts. However, the teachers have identified some huge gaps in their retention premium as compared to other public sector workers.
There is a huge gap. Some people are getting from 96% to 114, 120%, and teachers have been dished just 15%. And that is what is creating the problems for us. Clearly, there is no equity.
The retention premium is one of the contract clauses that we want to review. So it's contained in what we are going to discuss with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
Although the strike action has been suspended, they insist government had only 7 weeks grievances.
From now up to maybe in the next 7 weeks, we will be able to find solution to this problem. Other than that, after 7 weeks, probably we may be back to where we are today. All stakeholders who have pleaded with us will not just go to sleep, but will also follow up on the issues.
We suspended it. We have not called off the strike. Because at least if you are going to negotiate, the law says you can't be on strike. Yeah. So we have decided to obey the rulings of the Labour Commission as well as the law. We will go back to the negotiation table, and when we see that things are getting out of hand, we will report back and maybe resort to the way people can listen to you.
They have proposed an immediate roundtable negotiation.
Elsewhere in the country, the regent of Dadmon, Abdullah Yakubu Andani, is calling for a stronger legislation to deal with persons who discriminately deplete the environment. His call comes in the wake of recent rainstorms which swept throughout the northern region, claiming lives and rendering many homeless. He spoke to our reporter, Komala Kluchi.
lost their lives in the space of 3 weeks of heavy rains. Schools, houses and public property were razed.
Tragedy hit Wale Wale, specifically the market, when 4 people lost their lives. On a tragic Monday, a 20-minute storm claimed the lives of 4 people. This is the tree that caused the disaster. The over 100-year-old mahogany tree fell just after the 20-minute storm.
The Gbewa Palace was affected but has since been re-roofed. The north has been cited for torrential rains by the Meteorological Service in coming weeks. This will come with heavy rains resulting in rivers flooding. Persons living along the banks of these rivers have over the years been swept by the floods, but relocating has never been an option to them. Human activities along the banks of the White Volta have increased, with growing concerns of pollution. The rate at which the vegetation is being destroyed in parts of the north has raised concerns of its ripple effect when rains set in. Gbewa Palace wants a pragmatic approach in dealing with the canker.
For rainstorm, they are natural disasters, but we need to have preventive measures, trying to see how we can enforce afforestation. That is very important. If you go around, especially in the north, you see that most of our trees have been cut down. So when the winds are coming, there's nothing to break them. They go with the strength and they blow off all these buildings. So I think government, and especially NADMO, should not only concentrate on, giving release items to people, but they should also see how best they can embark on this tree planting.
The reforestation in the north under the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority has come in handy to address these challenges. One question that has emerged is the preparedness of the indigents of the north to even work on SADA projects.
With the question of sustainability, yes, once the projects is running, definitely we are going to bring in more of them to come to the field.
Attitudinal change and state intervention is required in dealing with the predicament in northern Ghana. Komla Kluche, Tamale.
That report was by Komla Kluche. Now to some other news. Some residential facilities in already developed areas will be affected when the land use planning and management project starts operating. This is a sub-component of the land administration program. Implementers say it will be difficult and compensations would have to be paid, but it will provide basic infrastructure to upgrade living conditions.
The land use planning and management project will be carried out in 4 regions: Greater Accra, Western, Ashanti and Northern regions. The Greater Accra, for instance, was selected to help reduce land litigations. The project will involve the introduction of basic planning principles in each district and recommend the necessary amenities needed, but they envisage problems with urbanized areas.
I want to emphasize that in doing this, it is in consultation with the people, so that they know that we have settled here before planning. Now that a planning is coming, we may need to provide a bit of space to introduce a road. That is where you would now look at how you can compromise your planning principles to ensure that at least it meets the needs of the people. But of course, it would actually involve resettlements, it will involve compensations, which are all issues that the NMDAs and other individuals would handle.
For emerging communities, structural plans are being prepared, which developers must follow.
For every center, there will be a structure plan, and by structure plan, there would be a broad land use zoning, and by land use zoning, I mean the proposed use to which land would be put. So it's expected that over the 5 years, by the 5 years time, you go to a district, and if you say you want to build a school, if the school is captured in the medium-term development plan, you go to a district and the planning has already provided a suitable area for a school, you go and site your school there. That actually is what we are trying to do.
Resources in terms of cash is available, according to the Town and Country Planning Department. They only need the commitment from stakeholders. The chief executives of the beneficiary assemblies and their staff are already being educated on the details of the land use project. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Julius Debra asked the assemblies to expedite building permit acquisition.
Away from land use, traditional authorities in the Western region have been given a day's training on the Whistleblowers Act at Takwa. It was organized by the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition.
The program was attended by divisional chiefs and queen mothers. They were taking through topics including the role of traditional authorities in the effective implementation of the Whistleblower Act, lessons and challenges in the implementation of the Act, among others. The Western Regional Director of SRAJ, Nana Mwasechi, shared his views on whether prosecution powers should be given to the Commission.
When you go outside Ghana, no one has prosecution powers because, as I've already said, we don't want to be a court. There are already enough courts in the system. So what we want to do is to be able to come out with decisions which are legal, which are lawful, and which are persuasive. That when the parties come and they read and we read out our decisions, they are convinced to go and do the right thing.
The Executive Director of Omar Consult Limited, Robert Amo, blamed the non-adherence of laid-down laws on lack of proper education and sensitization.
We don't even realize that breaking a law like jumping red light is also part of impropriety that amounts to corruption. Or a market woman selling in the market, mixing coconut with flour. And so the fact that we are also ignorant about what we see as corruption, we don't do anything about it, and that is why it's been with us for a very long time.
A communique issued by participants affirmed their commitment towards ensuring proper education of the citizen.
You're still watching Midday Live.
Hello there, very good afternoon to you all out there. Welcome. This is the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Joel Champon. This afternoon, let me quickly run you by match day 19 midweek fixtures of the Globe Premier League games that are expected to be played this afternoon at 3 p.m. at the various league centers. Remember, in Tamale, at the Tamale Sports Stadium, RTU returns to Tamale after facing that home ban. They served a match home ban for about 12 matches or so, and now they return to the Tamale Stadium. RTU returns to the Tamale Stadium, and they will be playing Alhaji Grunses King Faisal in the match day 19 of the Globe Premier League. Remember, it's the midweek fixtures of the Globe Premier League. And also Accra has a folk going away to, they will be playing at the Ajman Bedu Stadium. They will be taking on Ediana Star. So those are the fixtures for match day 19 of the Globe Premier League. In Tamale, RTU will be taking on King Faisal, and at the Golden City Park we'll be seeing Brekum Arsenal as they rub shoulders with Mediaman. At the Babayara Sports Stadium, defenders Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be locking horns with Brekum Chelsea. And at the Clarendorf Park, Liberty Professionals, the Scientific Soccer lads, they will also be settling scores with Wa or Stars. Whilst at the Ajman Bedu Stadium, we'll be seeing Ediana Stars take on Accra Hearts of Folk. That is for the midweek fixture. And at the Lenkley Sports Stadium, Ashanti Gold will be matching it boot for boot with New Edubiase at the Lenkley Sports Stadium. So those are match day 19 fixtures of the Globe Premier League there for you. Those matches are happening this afternoon at the various league centers. Well, so let's turn our attention away from the Globe Premier League and bring you something on international football, and it has to do with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and it has to do with the Champions League. Remember, PSG will be taking on Barcelona in that Champions League action, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic has been cleared of the two-match ban that he faces in that particular game. So Paris Saint-Germain star Zlatan Ibrahimovic has been cleared to face Barcelona in the Champions League quarterfinals after UEFA reduced his 2-game ban to 1 match. The former AC Milan striker was sent off in the dying minutes of a Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 victory over Valencia in the first leg of their last 16 tie and was subsequently handed a 2-match suspension. However, after a successful appeal from the Ligue 1 club, the punishment has been reduced to just 1 game, meaning he will be available for both last 8 legs against the old club, having served the ban in the reverse fixture against Valencia. So that is on Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Let's now shift focus from international football and come to the Africa Youth Championship. Remember, Ghana yesterday won that important semi-final duel against Mali, meaning Ghana will be taking on Egypt in the finals on Saturday at the Africa Youth Championship that is currently underway in Algeria. And we hit the streets to find out from most fans what they thought about the performance of the Satellites in yesterday's game.
Actually, yesterday they couldn't perform very well to my satisfaction, but at the end of the day, we got ourselves through. So we will just be with them with our prayers, and I believe they can make it.
By the grace of God, I think if they continue like that, they'll win the cup.
The way they play the ball, they haven't tried for me, but football is like that. So I'm sure we are going to take the cup.
I like the way they took the penalties. Yeah, because the Malians were also fully prepared, especially our goalkeeper, Entry. He did well, he saved the boys, yeah, so they should be encouraged, yeah. And I hope that now that they have qualified for the World Cup, well, yeah, where is the forward?
Satellite, they did well. The goalkeeper is the only one who saved us. But the players, they play, but to score, you see, the position score, that is their fault.
For me, I think they are doing good. Yesterday, the way they played, I wasn't too happy, but at least they won. For them to have even gotten to the semi-finals shows that they are doing something right. They may not be playing the beautiful soccer that we want them to, but then they are getting results. Me, I believe they will bring the cup.
Also back in the studio early on Inside Sports, we were discussing table tennis and seeing its facelift. Joining me once again here on the Midday Live edition of Sports is Eric Amoy, UK-based former Ghanaian table tennis player. He's back to help the dwindling fortunes or nature of table tennis to a different facelift. He's joining me here on the sports segment this afternoon. Eric, let's pick it up from the Inside Sports show where we left off. I just also want to know from you, monitoring the Ghana table tennis so far, for you, do you think it really needs help, or do you think it has not, the way you guys started, is it dwindled?
Yeah, basically, I mean, we think they really need a lot of help because the game has really gone down, and it's not in terms of international competition, but local scenes as well. How many competitions do they normally play a year, and how many competitions do they go outside to play? You know, because talking about me, 1996 I became a national champion. Straight away I went to African Championship. 97 I went to World Championship in Manchester. 99 I went to Eindhoven for World Championship, sorry, and 2003 I played World Championship in France as well. 2006 I went to Commonwealth Games in Australia, Melbourne. So if you look at his records, you know, speaks a lot. So what are they doing now? I believe, like they always say, no sponsorship. It's very difficult to go out there to get sponsorship for these leisure sports, you know what I mean? But I don't want to dig deep to those stuff, but I believe that if we look through the right channels, like we pick it from the school level, like the same way we pass through to that level, and that place, you really gonna get a lot of people competing with each other, and it looked very competitive back in the days. And it's not as easy as it used to, you know, people just get into the national team recently, you know, anyhow, like, oh yeah, he's a national champion, is this and all that. If you look at their backgrounds about table tennis, it doesn't speak a lot. And if you ask the former champions, like, do you know this current champion? When did he start playing? You know what I mean? But if you mention names like myself, Eric Hamon, and other players, like, you know, it rings a bell and people say, oh yeah, he used to play table tennis when he was a kid and all that. You know what I mean? So that's the basic reason why I just want to bring this, you know, youth championship, just to, you know, bring the game back to the light. And I believe that by doing that from that level, it will create a lot of awareness, and people that really love table tennis will get back into the game as well. Because if you speak to a lot of big men in this country, they all have played table tennis before. Even if I ask you now, do you play table? Exactly, you know what I mean?
On one table, like
exactly, that's how we all started. We play on the floor, sure. You know, we get a lot of, you know, milk cheese and all that with some wood style playing. That's where we get our, you know, challenge from. And basically, people have forgot all that, and you know what I mean, people are not looking at the right direction just to pick up the game back to the light. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do now.
Okay, so Eric, I mean, looking at the amount of money that you are investing in this, how many equipments did you bring in? How much of encouragement do you think this will go a long way affecting the young ones that you want to inculcate this game into?
Yeah, basically I've invested, you know, a lot of money in. That's why I'm going around doing my stuff my own way, you know what I mean? Because I'm in Ghana, I'm not working. So why don't you go to places just to enlighten people? I've bought about 20 bats. And I don't want kids to go around, you know, asking their parents or their brothers, you know, to get them back before they turn up for that competition. I'll provide everything, and you know, they turn it up winning prizes will also encourage them, and their parents will also encourage them. You know, if you win and you get a trophy and you get table tennis medals and table tennis trophy bats and all that, at least if you go home, you know, your mom and dad will encourage you. You know what I mean? If these kids win and they turn up to TV3 just to get an interview about how the competition goes and all that, we also motivate them. You know what I mean? Because it's not only about you going to school or trying to be a pilot or be a whatever. I can do your job. That's why I'm a sport athlete. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I do best. And exactly, you know, things that people can divert from other angles just to become whoever they want to become in future.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric. All the best in your, quest to making Ghana table tennis rise back to its, former pegging that it was.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I've been speaking to Eric Ama, a former table tennis player or ex-table tennis star who is currently based in the UK. He's down here in Ghana for a tennis clinic and competition that is coming off on Saturday, 6th April at the RLG Hafamani Sports Hall, and players below 15 have been selected from the 10 regions, assisted by the national coach Owusu.